Hello and welcome to Phyre's LEGO Reviews. Today we're going to be looking at the LEGO BIONICLE 40581 BIONICLE Tahu and Takua set. This of course is a tribute to the classic LEGO theme BIONICLE from the 2000s. That theme was a big part of my childhood. I was a huge fan of that, and it played a big factor into, just my overall being a fan of LEGO. So a lot of nostalgia with this set. I'm excited, very excited to take a look at it. This set was a gift with purchase from LEGO during the end of January, beginning of February 2023. Unfortunately, only certain sets qualified for this promotion. So now if you want to get this set, I just checked eBay and it's looking like it's going for between 40 and 50 bucks at present time. So definitely, a pretty hefty price for this set if you want it. If you missed out on that promotion or didn't have a set that you wanted to get that would have qualified for it. So this set has gotten, a kind of mixed reaction from the fan community. Obviously, people who weren't fans of BIONICLE don't really have much interest in it. But fans of BIONICLE are kind of split on their interest in it. Personally, I really like it. I really love that they are paying homage to BIONICLE this way and actually releasing a official BIONICLE set. Now, where the fans, certain fans aren't really liking it is the fact that it is made completely with regular Lego bricks. It is completely brick built. There are no Technic pieces in this set, unlike the original BIONICLE sets, which kind of had their own, system of elements. But Lego does not make any of those pieces anymore. I'm sure all the molds that they have to produce those pieces are long gone. So I feel like this is a worthy compromise, because obviously they're not going to make brand new molds for just a one-off promotional set. Now, some fans would love to see BIONICLE return properly, but for the time being, this is what we're getting, and I feel like it's the best that we could have gotten under the circumstances. And I really appreciate it, how much they were able to make it look like the original BIONICLE sets, even though it is brick built. So the front of the box here, of course, as we've been focused on this for the first couple minutes of this video, features Tahu, the Toa of Fire, in all his glory, striking a very similar pose to what the original Tahu had in his original set. It's also got the box art that is very reminiscent of that first line of BIONICLE sets from 2001. So that is very cool to see. And then Tahu is not all you get in the set, however, because it is Tahu and Takua. Turn around to the back of the box and we see both Toa Tahu, the Toa of Fire, and the Matoran Takua, the Chronicler, by his side, looking very much like those original Matoran characters that were first originally released as Happy Meal promotions from McDonald's. So it's, again, it's all brick built, but it's very cool to see how close they were able to get to the original sets. And unfortunately, I do not have my original Tahu anymore, so I won't be able to do like a full comparison. I'm curious how the size compares. The bottom of the box shows Tahu with kind of the components broken apart there, and then all together. And then it shows another thing that wasn't featured on the front of the box, or even on the back here, the display stand, which is Tahu on his lava board, which is on top of some lava and, kind of a display stand piece, with Takua mounted on Tahu's shoulders. The top of the box just has some kind of legal information here, the Lego logo, and then we've got an actual size picture of Tahu's head. I'm not sure. I think this is going to be a printed piece and not a sticker, but we'll see when we actually open the set. Side of the box here, there's nothing really interesting there, just kind of a lot of blank space. This side of the box just has Lego BIONICLE. Again, that classic kind of light gray design based on the original run of BIONICLE sets. And then the bottom of the set here with some more kind of legal stuff, nothing that interesting there. Another thing I want to say is that, it's been really nice to see LEGO do some of these gift with purchases that are based on, classic themes. Obviously, we've gotten the Forestman's Hideout recently, and even this year we've got the Blacktron Cruiser. It's nice to see BIONICLE included among the ranks of Classic Castle and Classic Space as a set to be reimagined. as a gift with purchase. Opening up the box, we've got our instruction manual here, as well as not one but two sets of numbered bags. I'm not positive here. We'll see when we open the instructions, but I think the first set is going to build Takua and the kind of display base and surfboard maybe, and then the second set of bags might build Tahu. But let's look in the instruction booklet to see if I'm right here. So it's really nice. It's really cool to see that kind of classic Bionicle poster with the infected mask, the island of Matanui. Just tons of nostalgia here. And some of the other artwork from the original Bionicle theme that is like so cool for me to see. I'm going to be curious to kind of read some of this later on. It looks like it's just kind of a history of Bionicle. Oh, and we've got looks like this is all a quote from Greg Farshtey. That looks like they spelled his name wrong because there should be an H there after the S. But of course, he's kind of the mastermind of the Bionicle story, for those of you who don't know. So that's cool. Looking forward to reading that. Let's see. It's not really clear, so it doesn't really tell you. Usually sets say, like, bag 1 is going to build this, bag 2 is going to build this. But this is just like, here's bag 1, open that, and it starts with the build. So I'm hoping this isn't true of all sets now, because I really like that layout in the beginning of instruction manuals where it would show you like how much each bag would build. But flipping forward a few pages, it looks like, yes, I was right. It does build Takua and then go on to build the display stand and lava board. And then maybe bag 2 will do Tahu. But I'm really surprised they didn't show that kind of breakdown in the beginning of the manual. Back of the manual is very plain. There's really nothing there. Okay, and then we look here. That's our parts list, of course, and then the completed set in the back there. Front of the manual, of course, just features the set with that boring white background. Kind of wish they would have more interesting covers for the instruction manuals. I know they've gone more plain in recent years, and I really don't like that change. I know they changed like the inside so they're not like printed on black anymore. Of course, they are still printed on this like dark gray color, so I'm not really sure that that's really accomplishing much. Like, I would be totally fine if they put all the instructions on a white background, just a plain white background to save ink, and then put some ink and color on the front covers of them. So yeah, it's supposed to be environmentally friendly, I guess, but I'm not really seeing like the connection here. If they're still using darker ink on the pages and then just doing a really boring front cover, like, that doesn't make sense. Do an interesting front cover and use white on the pages. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. We're going to look at the set moving forward in the build. All right, here's our progress after the first set of bags. So we have the Matoran Takua here, as well as the base for the display stand. The lava board is not built yet. That will be in the second set of bags along with Toa Tahu. And then we've also got this here, which, if you're not familiar with the story of Bionicle, the original story kind of features an introduction involving the great spirit Matanui and the evil spirit or villain Makuta. And they are represented in the a lot of classic animation videos for Bionicle by these two stones. I believe they're also featured in the intro for the original Bionicle movie this way. So Makuta, of course, is depicted as the kind of gray, kind of gnarly looking, I guess you could say, stone. So they capture that with these 1x1 square plates, and they have them built actually kind of offset from each other. So you don't put these together perfectly straight. You kind of rotate them a little bit so it gives this kind of jagged looking stone. And then Matanui is a much smoother round stone, so they represent that using the Lego dinosaur egg piece. So I think that's really nicely done, a really cool homage to the original story. And some of those original animations and even the original movie where that's featured. So really cool to see that, as simple as it is, it's just a really cool thing that they included in this set. Takua here looks pretty much like the original Matoran sets that were featured as Happy Meal toys back in 2001. So he's got these arms that, just like those Happy Meal toys, they aren't really that movable. The Happy Meal toys did feature kind of a spring-like feature, so that you could have them, you pull them back a little bit and they'd shoot the discs. These are much more rigid Lego bricks, so that doesn't have that feature, but it does show him holding a disc in one hand, so that is cool. And you could hold it in the other hand; it would just be rotated 90 degrees. So yeah, that's nice. And unlike the original Matoran, they were able to make posable feet for Takua here. So you can actually rotate them quite a ways and pose them a little bit, to kind of have him running and stuff. So that's really cool that they were able to put that posability in there where it wasn't on the original Matoran. And then he also has a posable head, which again is not a feature of those original Matoran. He's got kind of a baby blue-ish backpack. And I am colorblind, so apologies, that could be purple, but I'm assuming it is blue. It's not the same shade of blue as his helmet. It's a little bit darker, but it is kind of, basically I believe it's like his chronicler's backpack, because Takua in the original story was the chronicler, and he followed the adventures of the Toa, some of their early adventures. I really like how they did the mask with this printed piece. It would have been amazing to see the return of an actual classic style Bionicle mask, maybe even a new shape. But of course, they decided to go with the completely brick built route. And I think, it conveys it very effectively. The piece is printed. It is not a sticker. So that's really nice to see. You don't have to worry about, placing a sticker on and getting it, oriented the wrong way. So it's really cool to see that piece being printed. It's a pretty good representation of Takua's original mask. And then something interesting is that when you take the mask off, they were able to design the head underneath to actually be kind of a rudimentary, almost robotic looking head, kind of like the original Matoran heads and Toa heads, maskless heads for all these characters would have looked like. So it's really cool that they were able to capture that look really in a simplistic style. I love that, without the mask, you can still kind of see a face there, with that line underneath kind of being the mouth and the two studs representing eyes. So that's really cool. And then you've also got, unfortunately, this doesn't shine through on the front. There's no real way that they could have done that, I think, with bricks. Obviously, the original Bionicle character's eyes featured those translucent pieces that glowed through in the front, so if you held them up in front of a light or something, their eyes glowed. This would not have that effect, but it still features that translucent piece in the back to kind of represent what the eyes would look like if they were able to shine through. And actually, the original Matoran didn't have any colored bricks at all. It was only the Toa and Turaga, I believe, of the original lineup that had those colored eyes. So yeah, a really nice little character here. I did, even though the arms don't go back, they do rotate this way. So you can, and that's something that the original Matoran did not, have the ability to do. So that is cool to see a little bit more range of motion in the arms as well, even if they can't have the kind of pullback spring feature that those original ones had. So yeah, a really nice little figure here. I really love how he looks and how they were able to convey his appearance in completely brick-built form. Moving on to the base, we'll just talk about that a little bit. It's nicely rounded off all the way around, and features some lava and stone here that's really nicely done with different shades of orange and the translucent orange bricks. Really looks nice. I love that detail here. And yeah, I'm excited to see how this looks with Tahu and the lava board mounted on it. I think it's going to look fantastic when it's complete. The second and final set of bags builds our Toa hero Tahu, as well as his lava board. So the lava board is actually built first, and features this kind of medium nougat color, primarily with some dark gray pieces. I think those might be pieces that either can't be produced in the nougat color, or for whatever reason they just chose not to. But it's a very simple design. Not a lot of pieces make up this board, but it is really effective. It looks really nice. Obviously very symmetrical. It might have looked cooler if it was maybe a little bit asymmetrical, actually, but I think it does the job well. Obviously we never got like an actual like kind of stone lava board in the original Bionicle sets. The things that Tahu actually surfed on were, Tahu Nuva actually were his swords that turned into that. So the original Toa Tahu did not have any kind of lava board. So it's cool to see them actually include that, and it fits nicely on the stand here with these pieces here connecting to these shield pieces, like so. So you attach it there, and it gives it a nice angle. Tahu is eventually going to be placed on that for display. But yeah, so that's nice. Looking at Tahu himself, I really like the design of it. They really captured the essence of the original Toa Tahu really well, I think. Right down to that ball joint on the center of his torso, just like the original design had. The torso was recreated really well. The shape of it looks very similar to those original Toa torsos from 2001. I especially enjoyed the use of this piece, which was originally used in Knights Kingdom action figure sets, which are also a series that I collected back in 2004 when those came out. So a nice little bit of nostalgia there. For me personally, these other pieces down here on his ankles are also from those Knights Kingdom sets. So yeah, cool to see those implemented. But yeah, the overall shape of it is really nice. He actually has articulation with the torso, which the original torsos did not have. Even going into the later years of Bionicle, the torsos themselves did not have any articulation as far as like the middle of the torso or anything. So it's neat that they were able to include that, that he can move a little bit and turn and, you know, lean from side to side. So that's cool. The legs are done in bright orange and bright red for the feet. The feet are a little bit oversized, I think, but the legs are really done nicely and have articulation at the knees as well as the hips, which again, the original Toa Tahu did not include. There was only articulation at the ankles and the hips. So this one, it actually still has the same amount of articulation because there is no articulation at the ankles here. But the fact that there is some at the knees and you can actually bend them quite a bit if you want to. But so that is really nice. I think it's better to have the articulation be at the knees rather than at the ankles if you have to choose one or the other. And then the arms here, slightly different designs, kind of matching the different designs of the original Toa Tahu. He had different pieces for his arms, as a lot of the Toa did. So it's nice to see there that original kind of hand that the original Toa Tahu had is kind of recreated here with this classic Lego piece and another one of those Knights Kingdom pieces on the hand here. I think it looks a little bit oversized here compared to the rest of his arm. And then on this side, I think this arm overall looks better, recreating that arm that held the original sword and the original Toa. And again, that does have articulation at the elbows. The original Toa pieces did not have articulations at the elbows for the arms, but again, at least on the side with the hand here, the original Toa had articulation on the hand, and this one does not. On the other side where he's holding the torch, that remains the same. There is no articulation at the wrist level, and there was no articulation for the original Bionicle figure. There's also these kind of black pieces kind of serving as shoulder pads here, so that's a kind of neat addition there, some different color besides just the orange and red. Obviously we got that gray in there. I would have preferred less gray, but you know, a lot of those hinge pieces apparently, I believe, can only be made in certain colors, so that's why they're gray instead of making them in orange or red to kind of keep the color scheme consistent. Moving up to his head here, we've got another mask on one of these brick pieces that is, again, recreated fairly well. You know, it would have been nice to see masks, Bionicle masks, somehow make a return, but, you know, the brick-built version Compromise, I think, is done well and is faithful to the original. He's got this, you know, translucent piece at the back here. I think it is, this is more of like a purpley pink on this one, whereas the original Toa Tahu, if I remember correctly, was a much more vibrant kind of pink color. So a different shade there for the what would be the eyes or the back of the head there for the original Bionicle. But other than that, you know, that's not a huge deal. I'm just making a comment that it is a different color than what the original had. And then just like with Takua, you can take that piece off and have kind of a rudimentary head that kind of represents the rudimentary Bionicle heads of old. And you still have this red piece on top, which is kind of neat to have, kind of differentiate him from what Takua's head looks like with the mask off. So that's neat as well. And then, of course, finally, the last part, we've got his flame sword here. I think it would have been neat if they were able to incorporate that original flame sword piece somehow, or maybe a smaller version of it, because I think that one might have looked a little oversized. Although it is cool to see the translucent, kind of dually colored flame sword here. I think it looks really well, and obviously, you know, all the basic elements of the original Tahu figure are included here, so that is very welcome and very nice to see. And as far as placing Tahu on the lava board, there are these holes in the bottom of his feet that can fit on these Technic pegs here, so you can just place them on and then pose him however you like. So we'll do that now. So of course there are a lot of different ways that you can pose Tahu there on the lava board and stand. So here is the set all together with Tahu and Takua, and the stones representing Makuta and Matanui. So overall, I think this set is a really nice homage to the older Bionicle sets. I really enjoy the fact that it is brick built. You know, it would have been fantastic to see those original Bionicle pieces come back, but the compromise of doing it brick built, I think, turned out really well for what it is. They were able to capture the essence of those original characters very nicely in brick built form. And I think this serves as a really nice tribute to those original Bionicle sets. Overall, I would give this set a 9 out of 10. It is very nice. There are some of the proportions on Tahu in particular could have been done a little bit better. Obviously, there's a lot of gray there that is shining through that, you know, would have been nicer if they could have somehow made it in orange or red. But as far as the overall looks of the set and all the things that you get with it, you get 2 characters plus the stand and the lava board and the little stone display of Matanui and Makuta. All of that together looks really nice. It's a great little display piece. I think any fan of Bionicle would really enjoy this. I mean, I particularly do. I know it got a lot of mixed reactions with the fan community of Bionicle. Some people didn't like the fact that it was brick built. But, you know, I think this is the best thing that we can get these days as far as a return to Bionicle. I would like to see them do more sets like this in the future. And yeah, you know, the true Bionicle fan in me really wishes that we could get another proper line of Bionicle sets. But I think those days are well behind us, and we have those original sets still that we can get, obviously for much more than what they originally cost. But if you don't have those original sets and can't really get them, I think this is a worthy addition if you want to remember Bionicle fondly. I think it's a really nice set, a really nice tribute to those original sets. This set took me just over 20 minutes to build, which averages out to about 5.8 seconds per piece. That is well below my overall average of around 8.4 seconds per piece. So it was a pretty easy set to do. There wasn't a lot of complicated building techniques. Everything came together really quickly. There's not a lot of really small pieces, and, you know, again, nothing too complicated about the build itself. So it really came together quickly. But, you know, it wasn't a boring build, I don't think, because there was a lot of cool stuff going on, and neat to see how they were able to recreate those Bionicle pieces in brick form. So yeah, if you have any questions or comments about the review or the set itself, please feel free to leave a comment down below. If you want to see LEGO do more sets like this as tribute to Bionicle, feel free to discuss that as well. If you like this review, please give this video a like and subscribe to my channel. I will be doing more reviews like this in the future, so stay tuned for those, and thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.